You've atoned through deeds, Black Bear. Take this pair of eyes. You've served the righteous cause, Yellow Rat. These ears are yours. Your power has gathered in you, Yellow Rat. Keep this nose. You've endured hardships, Hunted Eye. Go with the tongue. And the bull, it is the hardest to turn against a sworn brother. You can have his body.
The 6 relics, the essence of what Wukong left behind after death. Each of them given away by different Yaoguais, sparking the journey of the Destined One to retrieve all 6 relics and revive the true Son Wukong. And you can easily look at that as a find the Dragon Balls type quest, but it really is nowhere near that simple. These 6 relics are more than just the soul of Wukong. It's more than just a source of power that the enemies try to exploit. It's more than just being a motivator for this quest, for it is actually the motivator of everything. These relics are the core reason of everyone's suffering and all of the evil doings in the world of Black Myth Wukong. That goes for the enemies, that goes for the bosses, that goes for the NPCs, that goes for Wukong himself. But today, I mainly want to talk about the bosses, the captors of the 6 relics. Today we'll see what each of the relics meant to each of the captors and seeing how they affected them in different yet similar ways. Now we already know that these 6 relics represent the 6 senses of the human body, which would be the eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, the body, and finally the mind. Each of these Yaoguais are driven by each of the senses that their relics contain, eventually leading to each and every one of their demises. If we look at some of the core principles of Buddhism, we will know that they believe that suffering comes from desire. But you cannot desire anything without your senses. The Black Bear Guai of Black Wind Mountain is a prime example of this. Holding the relic of the eyes, he is driven by everything he sees. If we look at the lore of the Black Bear, we can see that he started off as somewhat of a servant. Wearing the same headband of Wukong, he lived a life inside of the grove of unimportance. Whenever he's seen people of nobility, he would make meager attempts to impress them, but to no avail. Eventually, he would leave this grove in order to return to the Black Wind Mountain. We know that he sought out to rebuild this mountain to its former glory in order to become the leader and win the respect of the Yaoguais. In order to achieve this, he used his mantra to revive some of the Black Wind Mountain's old leaders. Unfortunately for the king, each of the leaders that he revived would either leave, be shunned by the other Yaoguais, or be a shell of their former selves, making the king's attempt to achieve true loyalty a failure. Whether as a bear in the grove or a king in the mountain, his mind operated the same way because he viewed himself as someone worthy of praise and worship. It fueled his desire to have people look at him in a similar fashion. This is where the eyes relic of Wukong comes into play. Unknowingly to the bear, he was shackled by the point of view of others, how people seen him, how people perceived him. The eyes fueled every single action he took. In the grove, he would try to gift the princess with quote-unquote eye-catching sculptures and try to conform to any task she set out in order to win her impressions. In the mountains, he would trick lesser Yaoguais of his status to have them make offerings. At the end of the day, his major flaw was worrying too much about appearances. And you can say the same thing for Elder Jinchi, the man who spent 270 years collecting treasures in Kasayas in order to prioritize his status and appearance, eventually leading to the destruction of the Black Wind Mountain. Pretty ironic, because when you encounter Elder Jinchi in his realm, he can't see a thing. But enough about the blind people. Let's talk about the deaf people of the Yellow Wind Ridge. So basically what the ear relic represents is how the headless monk sings songs and you can hear it. The kingdom of the flowing sands used the power of sound to instill peace. The Buddha gifted them the drum of the setting sun, which protected the kingdom from the harsh environments of the desert. This made them erect golden statues and temples in honor of the Buddha. But once the praise of the Buddha overshadowed the actual king of the lands, he tore all that shit down. And then the Buddha summoned a big ass beetle, which the yellow rat sage came in and stopped. And then Wukong and the Tang monk came along, and the yellow wind rat tried to kidnap the monk and steal his power, which led to the Bodhisattva taking him out. But instead of simply killing the rat, the Bodhisattva took him in as his disciple, while also turning the Wind Kingdom into rats. Unpleased with this news, the rat swore for revenge, which is why after he obtained the relic of the ears, he cut the head off of the Buddha. And then he came back and took over the Yellow Wind Ridge. So what does all of this have to do with ears? I believe the flaw in the action of these Yaguais is how they reacted and responded to receiving unfortunate information. If you have a weaker mental state, whatever you hear can determine and alter your whole mood. And in some cases, it's what you don't hear. The Golden King could have just been grateful that the Buddha was protecting his kingdom, but instead, he decided to worry about all of the praise that he wasn't getting because of the Buddha. The Yellow Wind Rat could have been grateful that the Buddhists gave him a second chance at life, but instead he decided to resent him, lusting for more power and holding on to that L he took. In the Codex, we learned that the Yellow Wind Sage abandoned all of his followers to go into secluded meditation in hopes to achieve the relic's power. He had wished not to be disturbed at all, no matter how dire the situation may have been. And while he did do this, mainly because he was power hungry, I also think he did this as a means to escape from the harsh truth that he is merely a pawn in the karmic cycle. Maybe deep down, he knew that eventually he would have to pay for his actions. The same reasoning he gave to his followers of beheading the Bodhisattva. Because similar to those damn tornadoes that he liked to spam in his boss fight, what goes around, comes around. Surround sound. When you take the journey to the New West, you encounter the wielder, the captor of the nose relic. So what exactly is Yellowbrow's connection with the nose and the sense of smell? Well, I think that question is easily answered if you look at his poem. Indulging in desires, I am carefree. No fears, no sorrows, just pure glee. In land of bliss, at the 8 precepts, I laugh with delight. Inherent nature blooms, a tower of light. My synopsis?
This guy stinks!
The Yellowbrow monk is the fattest embodiment of instant gratification. He has no morals, no principles, and his only code is the chase. Chase every single moment of pleasure and bliss, no matter how short it is. It's like when you smell some food cooking in a restaurant. It's like when you smell some cologne at the mall. If you allow yourself, you can become drawn and attached to it. This is the same corrupt philosophy that he used to gather his disciples. Former allies of Wukong were reeled in by Yellowbrow, offering them something they desired and couldn't resist. They fell for his tricks because they were at a state of suffering and they kept smelling the syrup. But as we all know, it may be easy to chase something blissful that makes you feel good in order to ease your state of discomfort. But those moments are really all they are. We could see in the Codex that the Yellowbrow was debating a monk, and the monk was trying to tell his stupid ass that what he's doing is not the Miyagi-Do way, but he didn't listen. And that's what led to causality to take its course. Anyways, what's that other guy's name? It's on the tip of my tongue. How does the 100-eyed Taoist represent the tongue relic? The violet spider is dumb as hell. She literally ruined her own life. You telling me she got herself banished from the immortal realm because she had a crush? Are you serious? They say that love is one of the most powerful emotions in the universe. And Zubaje and Violet's story is a prime example of that. People do very foolish things in the name of love. And once you've tasted it once, the craving will always linger. If you hold a outside perspective and you've never tasted the forbidden fruit, you will never understand. But all it takes is one bite to be attached for the rest of your life. This is the curse of the violet spider. In her case, she tasted it once, and then she spent the rest of her days yearning to get that same feeling again. But when you order from the same pizza place twice, the second time will never hit as good as the first. Due to the circumstances of the journey to the west, their love life could unfortunately never be. Her demise being brought from trying to fix what is forever broken. So what does this have to do with the tongue relic? So basically, Violet is a spider guai and she tries to eat him. If I were to describe the relationship between the Bull King and the body relic with one word, it would be pain. Wukong in his final dying words had described the Bull King as someone who never made the right choice. Which the monkey kinda has no room to talk, but he was correct. His decision to do a tag team with Wukong against all of the gods of the heavens not only led to the destruction of the Yashka people, but also forced his wife into childbirth for the Red Boy. Childbirth being one of the most extreme pains that a body can go through. The Red Boy ended up resenting him because he decided to serve the same gods that killed his people. And then when he decided to fight those gods, he immediately got smacked. When the Destined One reaches the Flaming Mountain, he sees the Bull King not in his former glory, but old and defeated. Just like a car, every mortal being in this planet has mileage that will accumulate over time to the point where you become defeated. The Red Boy, on the other hand, is probably one of the best examples of how someone's mere existence can be nothing but suffering. The boy is trapped inside of his own body, a body that is a constant reminder of the mistakes of the Bull King in the destruction of his people. While they may have shown him love, he was not born out of love. He was born out of blood. And when he was defeated and realized that he could never escape from living under the noses of the same people who put him in this position, he ended his own suffering. This is where it comes to the point where the sixth senses and your attachment to it becomes more than just a flaw. It becomes a bondage, something that as long as you are stuck in this mortal coil can never truly be liberated from. And the crazy thing about these five senses is that they are all connected through the sixth sense, the mind. Sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch, all bring signals to the mind, and if significant enough, will live on through your memories. All of the villains that you fight and the mistakes that they make comes full circle at the end when you realize that Wukong made all of these mistakes. Pretty amazing how he is the final boss, because this game is basically trying to tell you that the greatest battles are within. But the thing is, while Buddhism tells us to detach ourselves from these desires, Wukong himself disagrees with this. He went through his trials in the journey and was granted a spot in the celestial court just to renounce all of it. But why did he do this? Are they trying to tell us that enlightenment is overrated? That there is beauty in the suffering that we face and we should embrace it? That maybe it's not so bad to be a being of desire? Is that really why he wished to be reincarnated? Man, I don't know. You know what I'm starting to realize about these type of games? Is that I hate them. I hate playing these games where the story is presented in fragments. It's too confusing. This is why I hated the Elden Ring DLC except for Baal, and now this is the same reason why I hate Wukong. Fuck this game.
What the fuck is this? Is it the turtle from Avatar? Bro, it is! It is!
Avatar is coming to Sun Wukong DLC right now.